Are you a business looking for a fresh new way to reach potential customers? Well, you need to get airtime on IT TV, a 24/7 streaming and on-demand TV service online and on Roku. With Roku having a potential reach of 62 million people, it's a perfect opportunity to reach potential customers through affordable commercial and infomercial spots. Visit us online today at itnetwork.tv.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. I am your host, Sharifah Hardie, and I have an incredible show for you today. We're going to meet some new friends, returning guests. We're going to live, we're going to laugh, we're going to learn, we're going to have a wonderful time. But like I always say, there's someone in your network. I don't know who it is. I'm not a psychic. My telekinesis powers aren't working. I don't know who in your network needs this information, but I guarantee you there's someone who wants to learn. Maybe they're a new entrepreneur. Maybe they're a small business owner, but they have the opportunity to learn from the experts. But as I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on the Roundtable Talk Show, and they'll only learn if you share the show with them. Well, while you're going ahead and sharing the show, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our very first guest, Mr. Joseph Kinsley. Joseph Kinsley is going to share about his company, which is Caffeina. Joe Kinsley has been drinking too many cups of coffee over the years to stay away. Joe, along with his business partners, created Caffeina for a healthier alternative. It tastes just like water, but is full of caffeine and electrolytes. You can order Caffeina directly from Amazon. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Good morning, Sharifah. How you doing today?
I'm excited. I want to learn about water with caffeine.
Yes, we our Caffeina brand water. We have a unflavored and flavored black cherry and mango flavored water. We launched in May of 2020. I'm sorry, and we launched during the pandemic. We've had some trying times, but as we've launched, we've become a very popular water, and with 100 milligrams of caffeine, it really gets you through your day.
That's wonderful. So we're going to come back to you, Joe, but we're going to see about Mr. Mark Stein and why Mark decided to come on board with Caffeina. Can you tell us a little bit, Mr. Misfit?
Sure. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for having me. So I'm a entrepreneur. I've been involved in many different businesses over the years. I currently run a real estate team throughout the country, and I do a lot of real estate trainings and motivational speaking. But on the entrepreneurial side, I love creating and starting new businesses. I got involved with Caffeina because a lot of the day I spent drinking coffee, and it really is not super healthy for you. So in my morning, I would have my coffee, but then throughout the day, finding other drinks to have all had a lot of sugar in it. But I wanted that boost of caffeine. So I ended up, reaching out to my friend Joe, who had started this. And I was like, look, I want to get involved. I want to do something like this. And we kind of grew this business from, a little shop in our home to now we are on Amazon, one of the top sellers. It really gives you a boost throughout the day so that, if you want to have that energy in that 2-3 o'clock hour in the afternoon, having water to hydrate yourself and get the caffeine gets you through the rest of the day. So it's a wonderful product. We have reviews from all over the country, and people are ordering on a regular basis now, both for their home and offices. And it's just a wonderful product and drink to have around.
Absolutely. But you're also the CEO of Links Residential, your real estate team in New Jersey and Florida. You also run Limitless Art with your daughters, Abigail and Rebecca, to provide motivational, happy, and positive artwork for kids across the country. Is that correct?
That is correct. I was able and had the pleasure to, during the pandemic, really turn a project that I started with my girls, trying to find motivational and inspirational artwork for kids. A lot of the artwork that you find online has to do with, money or materialistic things. I couldn't find anything that was really just to help them with a positive mindset. So we created this as a project in 2019, and then it turned into a business by accident where all of their friends and their parents their friends' parents were asking for the artwork. So we started selling it online, and now We rebranded as Limitless Art recently, and now selling more products, more artwork. We have a lot of teachers, school psychologists, grandparents buying it for kids. It's really incredible the emails we get of people we've reached, the positive mindset, positive messaging that we have. And I just love to see the success that my girls are having with us.
Oh, wonderful, Mark. We're going to find out more about you, but I just want to go ahead and introduce our next guest, the incredible Dr. Angela Swain. Author and speaker, Dr. Angela is a trifecta coach, building business better heart, mind, and soul. Dr. Angela helps businesses maximize performance and productivity with her experience as a business psychologist, corporate consultant, and theology coach. Good morning, Dr. Angela. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. It's good to be together. So I am the trifecta coach. I help business executives create new possibilities. And I really do that by looking at the process as a whole. So I look at the purpose of the business. I look at what drives the business executive, and what is the process necessary to help them go from maybe a state of confusion to a state of thriving and well-being.
I like that. We have to learn more about that today, Dr. Angela. But we are going to come back to you because I'm going to go over here and talk to my next guest, Chef Karen, who's going to help me with one of my favorite things, which is food. She's from our kitchen classroom. Chef Karen is a nomadic world schooling chef who wants you to #play with your food. She teaches parents and educators how to find and take advantage of the educational opportunities at every meal through books, private cooking lessons, group workshops, and curated culinary and culture tours in select global cities. Good morning. Welcome, Chef Karen. How are you? You're on mute. You're on mute, dear. Okay. Let's get Chef Karen off mute. Okay, there you
There
go.
we go. Good morning. I am absolutely unbelievable, Sharifah. Thank you for asking.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, but I'll get back to me. Like, when are we coming to Long Beach? That's what I want to know.
Well, as you said, I am absolutely passionate about getting people to play with their food. And my family and I have been bumping around the Balkans mostly for the last couple of years, mostly out of Tirana, Albania, just a little farther from Long Beach than I would like, because, Southern California is my hometown. But we have a chance to travel vicariously through our cooking. And that's part of the reason I'm so passionate about getting children of all ages, myself included, into the kitchen to cook more, because just like your roundtable, Sharifah, we have a chance to really come together and learn and engage and to grow and expand our horizons.
So is this what you're passionate about?
I am, absolutely.
It sounds like it. Now, Chef Karen, we're going to find out more ways to get me some food, but I am going to come back to you. Let's get back to me. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest all the way from the UK, Miss Jan Cavill.
Thank you so much.
How are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jan.
I'm okay. Of course, it's later in the day here, so I haven't got the boundless energy that everybody else has got, but it's lovely to be with you all.
What time is it?
I am passionate about entrepreneurship. I've had businesses, excuse me, going hoarse as well at the end of the day. I've had businesses all my life and built them from scratch, from kitchen table onwards. But at this point in life, I'm trying to support other entrepreneurs really as a passion project. And I got involved in supporting entrepreneurs a couple of decades ago now on a government campaign. And have done it ever since. And now I write and speak all about entrepreneurship, encouraging others. Shameless plug, why not? I have a book out at the moment called Scale for Success, much prettier than my face. Look. And I'm currently writing my second book. So supporting entrepreneurs in whatever way I can.
We're going to find out more about scaling for success, but I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. You've seen her on the round table before, and I love people who can teach people about some of my favorite things. We mentioned food, we have some water, but let's get back to the money, the secret profits. Yes, we have America's profit building specialist, Miss Amy Rose Herrick. She saves entrepreneurs and financially savvy individuals time and money by increasing their bottom lines each and every year to live their dreams or to build wealth for future generations. Welcome back, Amy. How are you?
Oh, it's good to be here. And one of the themes that I picked up today is we have got a lot of authors going on. And for those of you who are watching now, here in the first quarter, I am releasing my new Secret Profit series, and I have 11 titles, and I am looking for a few more individuals to do some reviews and to look at these pre-publications. So if that is something of interest, reach out to me. It's always delightful to be here, and I'm looking forward to it. The other thing that I've added this year that you don't know about, Sharifah, is I finally gave up. I put some things up on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of educational sessions that are free on Zoom. And then if you can't make the session, then you can watch it on the YouTube channel. So lots of things happening for 2022.
Okay, so what are you teaching on YouTube that you're not teaching on the Roundtable Talk Show? I get jealous.
All right. Well, what am I teaching? I have got a variety of sessions, and I have a sheet ready to go in case you ask. Here's just a couple of the titles. What is the economic value of every customer? Easy changes to increase production and profitability. Money, teens, young adults, young at hearts. What about should you rent or own your location? What is the true cost of an employee? Is your advertising giving you ROI? I mean, there's a whole bunch of different titles. And I have one section that I'm doing that is for, I will call it individual titles, wills, trust, that type of thing, passing the family home. And then the other segment is for the entrepreneurs on how to build your bottom line and to give you some tips there.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the people. Amy is looking for reviewers for her book. Does anything stand out? Does anybody want to be a reviewer? Does anybody want to find out about secret profits?
Sounds great. I would love to review it for you.
All right. I'll put my email in the chat. And for those of you who are listening, it'll be in the show notes. And the titles that I have is there is Entrepreneurs, Mistakes to Avoid. This is really for anybody with a business. I have Multi-Generational Family Medical Planning. Again, that affects all of us. And then I've got series that are 25 questions to ask before marriage, before remarriage, before retirement. And I have books that are for heterosexual couples, lesbian couples, and gay. So I've got 11 different titles. And if you're interested, you can just reach out and I can show you some covers.
We're going to learn some things today. Dr. Angela, we're going to get you to be a reviewer.
Absolutely. I was just going to chime in there. Thank you, Amy, definitely. And actually, I'm working on my second book as well. So my first book is Kitchen Table Talks with Dad, 5 Simple Tools to Become a Transformative Leader. So 2 of the tools are emotional intelligence and employee voice. I did a lot of research on that for a few years. And then the other 3 tools I created myself, and that's Momentum Mirror Moments for Change, Images, which is an acronym for the inward process of discernment, and then impact. So a lot of my clients would say, I really want to make an impact in this world. And it got to a point, honestly, where I was really like, what does that even mean anymore? It seemed to kind of the definition, we didn't have an operating definition of that. So we go through the process after we do images to look at impact to see how you want to position yourself in the world, the timing of the things that you do, and also the alliances that you create to really grow your business. And so the second book I'm working on is dedicated to my mother. She passed in September, and it's called From the Eyes of a Matriarch. And it's looking at how to heal certain traumas that we experience and how leadership can inform trauma-informed situations.
Absolutely. Now, Mark,
I'm so sorry for your loss, Dr.
Oh,
Angela.
Yeah.
Thank you. Three grandparents in 22 months. So we're This book was actually dedicated to my father-in-law. I don't know if you can see it. He passed from cancer in 2020, and this is me literally the day before he passed. So it's just It's like he waited until the photo shoot was over to transition. We were very close. Very close. Yeah, so thank you for that. We're strong though. We'll get through it.
Yes, we are strong as a people. Mark, I saw you volunteer to be a reviewer. As an entrepreneur, what are some of the things that stood out to you that maybe Amy mentioned or even Dr. Angela about entrepreneurship?
I love hearing from other entrepreneurs, their point of view, what they've gone through. I actually just started a podcast called Whatever It Takes, hearing from other entrepreneurs of what does it really take to be successful, understanding what people go through. Like with social media today, everything is, we see all the success and we see all the happiness, right? It's very rare that people post the struggles that they go through. But people need to understand that there are lots of ups and downs, lots of struggles that entrepreneurs deal with on a daily basis. And there's a pathway to success, right? And it's every day taking a step forward. But a lot of people don't see those little steps are taken every day. And so I'd like to hear more about other entrepreneurs, what they've gone through, what they've had to overcome in order to be successful, in order to accomplish their goals, in order to be happy in life. And so to hear about this book about entrepreneurship, I would love to read it. It's really I love hearing these stories that other people have to share.
Absolutely. Now, Joseph, I'm pretty sure as an entrepreneur, you have not had one single struggle, right?
Everything has been, obviously COVID has kind of hurt everybody. So, but we are very strong, Mark and I and my partner Ron. Just kind of fighting our way through, and being in a industry that there's so many products out there. We just we're the little guy, but we're making some noise at this point. So it's
you seem like the little guy. I'm just watching behind you, and I'm trying to count how many bottles and stacks and everything. You got go. I'm like, which one of those is for me? Because I see a whole bunch of cases in the background. But what are some? You said we're fighting our way through. What are some of the tools, strategies that you use to continue to fight because you're still operating?
Well, listen, we're very happy with the progress that we've made since 2020. So, but social media, we're doing everything on our own. We have marketing backgrounds, print backgrounds. So, when we're designing a product, this is all done in-house. We don't have to go out and use services to get these things done. So, it saves us on that end. And, quite honestly, we're playing with some of the biggest names in the beverage industry, the vitamin waters, the Gatorades, and so on and so forth. So it's just easier for us to do everything, save some money, and use our talents for everybody, Mark included, Mark and my partner Ron and Rob. So all four of us are really working to build this product, internally.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go back over to Mark to see if he agrees with you. Mark, are you working as hard as you're supposed to be working, Mark?
We're working super hard. Here's what it comes down to, right? You come up with a product and you have to get into the marketplace, right? So our marketplace right now was Amazon, because Amazon has the distribution around the country that we wanted, right? So we got ourselves on Amazon, but then once you're on Amazon, how do you get sales, right? So we tested all the different ideas out, how to do ads, how to do products, how to do reviews. And at the end of the day, it's really having a good product, getting the customers to order it, and then getting reviews from them, because the more reviews you have, the better you come off on Amazon. And we're one of the top sellers on Amazon the most months against the biggest brands out there. And it's interesting to see what other brands are doing to combat what we're doing. Like, we are four guys running this out of a house for the most part, but these big brands who have multi-million-dollar budgets are coming up with campaigns to get their waters in front of ours, and we're still somehow, most months in front of them. At the end of the day, it comes back to clients being happy, customers being happy. If you get your customers happy, they'll keep reordering from you and keep coming back to you for business. And Amazon has given us that opportunity to be a distribution partner, around the country, where we deliver our order to one distribution hub and they distribute it all over so that it's Amazon Prime and you can get it very quickly. We do fulfill some things by ourselves, and we're trying to find ways to maximize our profits while, making sure the product is as good as it can be and be a premium order for what's out on the market. Caffeine is an expensive product, and so you need to make sure that the caffeine itself is high quality caffeine, and that people appreciate the amount of caffeine in the bottle so that they don't go back to coffee all day and that they're actually drinking your water throughout the day.
No, I definitely agree. But one of the things that stood out to me, Mark, is when you said doing this from home. Now, 2 years ago, people would have heard that as a negative connotation. They probably said, Joe probably did not want you to mention that we're doing this out of the home because that just killed all the sales. They're like, okay, they're doing. But you know what? It has COVID, this, horrific time, people lives lost, but it has leveled the playing field where every company is operating from home. Like every time I call GoDaddy, the representative is like, well, I'm working from home, so I can't transfer. I'm like, y'all don't transfer calls just because you at the house. You know what I mean? I'm running for Senate. I had to call Long Beach City Clerk and ask her a question. She was like, well, we're working from home. Like they want everybody to know everyone's working from home. So use that to your advantage. Don't make it a negative thing. Chef Karen, are you working from home?
I am always working from home. And I love that, I don't love the pandemic and the horrible conditions that brought it about, but I love the fact that more and more people are beginning to recognize not just the challenges, but the benefits of being able to work from home. It is an honor and a privilege to call my home, my workspace, my play space. It's such an incredible thing, and I'm excited that so many more people all over the world are on board now because I've been doing this for years. This is fun.
That's what I tell people. I've been doing this is me for years. I was that one employee that kept leaving jobs. They kept laying me off because I would say I cannot work under these conditions. I can't work. And people are like, you have to have a job. I'm like, but I can't work under these conditions. One of the last companies that I worked for had absolutely no food in the building. No food within walking distance. The closest restaurant was a McDonald's, which was 6 blocks away. And I had a 30-minute lunch. I was like, I cannot, I can't, I'm not about to do that. Jan, is it just me? How you doing over there in the UK?
Well, I noticed today on the news, we've all been ordered to go back to work in the office, which is going to be an interesting one. But luckily, I do work at home. I've always loved working from home. When my last business grew to a certain size, I had to spend some 10 years working in an office in a factory building, and I really didn't like it. It's lovely to be back home.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that feeling because 30-minute lunches, no food in the building. They had a vending machine. Do I look like a Snickers for lunch kind of girl? Like,
I can't even begin to imagine. That just seems like inhumane working conditions. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But it was the norm. That was the thing. That was like normal. Like nobody even objected. That's
I would have been the first to object. We cannot normalize working conditions like that. That's just so wrong on so many levels. I mean, just the fact that, like I say, when you're around food, that stimulates so many other exciting conversations. When people can gather over here and do a little of this or break away and do a little bit of that. So many more wonderful things happen. Why would you want to keep that away from your workplace? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes, we're going to ask Joe, though, because maybe Joe doesn't agree. Joe, Chef Karen wants to know, why would you want to keep that away from your workplace?
We want to get this in the workplace, but food, I mean, this does stimulate more work. I mean, but food, yes, I'm a 275-pound guy, so I do like food. And, luckily upstairs here, there's a wonderful kitchen, and my wonderful girlfriend does cook very good Spanish food. So in Cafina, in our home-based business, we are covered here.
Yeah, there you go. Got to get that food now. Amy, we done went around. We done talked.
Yeah, I'm listening to this and I'm thinking of some of the places that I work. Now, guys, I'm a pioneer. I have been in a home office since 1993. So I've been out of that for a long time. But even then, we used to bring in crock pots. I'm telling you, they'd let me with no kitchen. I'd have a crock pot. I'd have me a toaster oven. I would have, I'd have some stuff because that's not reasonable. But that also goes along if you're an employer and you're looking at some of this. There can be valid reasons that you're having the turnover and you're having problems because your employees have needs. They need to be met. And to me, that would be a very basic need. Just like, would you imagine having your employees come to work and say, you know what, we just took the bathroom out. We don't think you need that. Can you imagine? Somebody would come to work, they'd say, I don't think so.
I'm going to ask Dr. Angela if she imagines that.
Yeah, and you know what, Sharifah, I was just thinking a lot of this conversation, what I'm hearing too is it's reasons why we decided to pivot and have our own businesses. So many people say like the working conditions weren't great, or the boss was horrible, or they were not emotionally intelligent. You know, they didn't care that I had a 6-year-old who was sick and I had to stay home and take care of them. And so I would love to hear at some point, maybe this conversation or the next, is that the people's narratives, people's stories as to how they decided and why they decided to pivot even into their own business. I would love to hear that narrative if we have time today, or like I said, in the next conversation.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we do here on the Roundtable Talk Show. We create the time so that we could talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're going to see who's going to answer that. But I'm going to tell you right now, one of the reasons why I pivoted is y'all can see I'm a special kind of person. I got to work under certain conditions. But at that same company, when I started working there, I was a travel reservationist. I made travel reservations for one of the largest companies in the world, Now, I ain't going to tell you it was American Express because that's not the point. The point of the story is this, that their sales goal was $150,000 in sales. Their top agents were selling $350,000 a month. I was selling $500,000 a month. Now, y'all see, I know I got problems with time management. So my shift was 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And I get there about, 7:05, 7:07. And they kept writing me up because they like, Sharifah, you're supposed to be here at 7 in your desk, signed in to take calls. And I'm like, I just made you $500,000. I need my coffee on my desk whenever I decide to show up. Like, no, this work for me. So I had to pivot and find a world where my $500,000 was valued. Okay. Chef Karen, you like to answer Dr. Angela's question?
Oh, Sharifah, first I have to say good for you, because that is exactly the sort of nonsense that people have realized in this new age that we're living in, that they just don't have to put up with anymore. I am a teacher at heart. My first job was teaching piano lessons to my fellow Girl Scouts so that I could earn some money to go and buy the kind of food that I wanted to buy as a child. So it's all about knowing and understanding what your priorities are and really putting that first. And so I went from a teacher in somebody else's classroom to founding my own international Montessori school in Japan because I wanted to continue to teach. But I had just had a baby, and everybody's telling me, oh, but you can't do that. You have to put your baby in care with somebody else, and then you can go and do the work that you wanted to do. And I said, no, my baby can stay with me, and I can do the work that I know I am wonderful at doing. So when my infant was 4 months old, he was just starting to crawl, and I opened up my own international Montessori school in Japan where we were living at the time. And that was a huge pivot. And everybody kept telling me, no, you can't do that because you have a baby. You can't do that because you have to operate in another language. You can't do that because you're supposed to be in this, downtown building over here, and somebody else needs to be with your baby. And what people are realizing today is that we don't have to follow the rules that generations past have followed. We have this amazing technology now at our fingertips that has allowed us to bring the world to us, for us to travel out into the world and meet up with people from every corner of the globe from the comfort of our homes and, while we're still in our pajamas if need be. And so as entrepreneurs, it's exciting to be able to take advantage of that, to be able to pivot and do what we need to do as human beings to not only satisfy our priorities, but also to do the wonderful work that is on our hearts, to meet those creative outlets that we need to be able to serve the people who need what we are most passionate about. So it's exciting to be able to do that. And I'm excited for more people to begin to realize the possibilities that are available when they get creative enough to envision the type of life, work, balance or imbalance, whatever that may be, that they really want to enjoy and just go after it.
I love it. I love it. I definitely agree. My children are 24 and 27 now. One of the main reasons I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and be an entrepreneur, and I knew even 27 years ago that the internet was the only way for me to be able to make money and to be a stay-at-home mom. Because in my simple little Sharifah mind, I said, well, if I can pay somebody to do childcare, then why couldn't this be my job? So I was confused. And now the world is just opening up to this idea. We're going to find out more thoughts on why our guests decided to pivot. But before we do that, we're going to stop for a brief commercial break, and we will be right back.
You need jordansrooter.com. Get free estimates, 24-hour service, special discounts for seniors and veterans. That's jordansrooter.com. Have a home repair or some remodeling you need done? No problem. We can handle all that too. Give us a call today at 800-300-0358. At Jordan's Rooter, we take pride in our work and always make sure to get the job done right the first time. That's jordansrooter.com. We want to be your Mr. Fix-It.
Are you a business owner, CEO, entrepreneur, artist, musician, celebrity, or influencer interested in more exposure for your business? Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today. We handle everything for you. We video interview you, we professionally produce your interview, and we distribute your interview. We do the work so you can focus on putting your best foot forward. If you have been looking for more ways to get your product or service in front of more people, this is the opportunity for you. Schedule your one-on-one interview with Sharifah Hardie today.
Yes, we have been having such an interesting conversation today. So many different topics, book reviews, pivoting, lunch, one of my favorite topics, and how to be productive at work. And if you are just now tuning in to the Roundtable Talk Show, you definitely want to catch this show from the top of the show in the archives. I want to go over to you, Miss Amy. What made you decide to pivot?
Well, I worked in a high-rise office building with a whole lot of other people. And even though I was relatively independent, I got tired of the interruptions. And then I also looked at how much time that I was losing, and I call it butt time, driving back and forth from my house and all of those things that weren't making me more productive and all the interruptions. So when I moved home in 93, my productivity skyrocketed because I lost a lot of the interruptions that I had before. Phone calls, people stopping by, asking questions, wanting help. So that helped me a lot. And then as I pivoted, a little bit later, we ended up expanding our family. Now, any of you out there, moms, you're going to get this. We had our Stetson, our one son, in August of 1995. God blessed us with 4 babies real quick. And by December of 2020, do the math, 5 years, I had 4 children and I nursed them all and did all of that and was able to maintain my practice and do other things. There is no way I could do that in an office. And I pivoted by bringing help in. I got a couple of college students, and then every semester we would look at their class schedule and determine when they could come take care and help with the kids, and that I would schedule appointments. So I was very flexible. And you just think about what really works for you. And that's the way you can build those businesses. And for those of you who are thinking about this transition, I'm going to give a plug to your tax preparers, because before you launch some of these things, get in and talk to a tax professional, talk to your legal or whatever, set it up right, and it will save you thousands and thousands of dollars.
Love it. I love it. Mark, what made you decide to make that pivot?
Mine starts back when I graduated college. I went to work in corporate America, and after 6 months there, I was like, this is just a lot of waste of time. Half the day is spent by everyone just chit-chatting around and talking about what they're going to do and what they should be doing and how they should be doing it. And no one was actually doing the work. And being, the person I was, always wanting to create and do something, I'm like, forget this. I'm going to take my real estate career full time, get into business consulting, and I did a lot of helping with other entrepreneurs over the years. And it's just one thing that keeps coming back to is the only thing that makes you successful is taking an action every day as often as you can in order to make that happen. So me realizing it doesn't matter where you work, as long as you're able to work and focus on what you want to do. I started working from home right after college and been working from home ever since. I have had offices and they have worked out well, but at the end of the day, I get my best work done, just focusing on what the action is I need to take.
Okay, you're not just saying that because Joe's here, right?
No, no. Joe knows me. Joe knows that I'm a hard person to get in touch with sometimes because of how crazy I am sometimes with my work schedule.
Joe,
It's the first time I'm seeing him in a week.
he was on the golf course, Joe.
I wish I was on the golf course.
We're gonna put GPS on him.
Joe, why'd you decide to pivot?
Well, I started in the printing industry in 1989. Built it up. You know, I worked my way up until as far as I can go in the printing industry. In 2003, 2004, I decided that I didn't want to be in an office anymore. So I created the marketing company that would market nightclubs at that point, and I worked that until, you know, I really pushed my marketing skills, which Mark knows about. Mark owned a bar restaurant, and we did help Mark out with his company. But over that time, I was marketing other different businesses, not only my nightclub business, and I started to get into the water business and designing packaging for waters, and that's kind of what started with Caffeina. You know, but we knew that we had to change things for us, for our water company, you know, to develop things as we go along. And that's what the marketing side of it was. And, you know, so that's how we developed Caffeina, just kind of through the journey of everything that I did, really came to this final product through the years since 1989. But
you keep saying that 1989. Joseph, not to cut you off, but I thought you was like 40 something. 1989, Joe.
I am.
What's the secret? The water?
I'm gonna be 50. I do have a 30-year-old daughter, a 7-year-old granddaughter. So I've lived my life early, and you know, now it's just you know, trying to find that path to not have to sit behind a desk all day long. So
Joe said, "I'm grown. I got grown kids."
The water keeps them young. You know, drinking that water every day.
it does.
I don't know. I think it's his girlfriend's cooking. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know.
I'm trying to get some
that is for sure.
water.
Yeah, and for any of you that are listening to this, you're not going to be able to see the faces, those who are watching it live. We have got a lot of different decades that are represented here. And so you do not have to be a specific age to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
No, you do
Absolutely.
Right about that.
Jan, you've been quiet over here.
Yeah, I mean, I started with entrepreneurship while I was still in my teens. And so, you know, I've gone through all sorts of morphing stages and pivots, you can imagine. But like many of you, I particularly worked from home when I had children. I was a single mom and I needed to support them and be around for them. And equally, you know, I scaled the business up and ended up with a couple of factories. And you can't really run those while, you know, being at home all the time. But like Mark, I do my better work at home. So it was a question of going in some of the time and then giving yourself time to sit back and work on the business at home.
Okay, so I just need to ask this question because you know, I'm 45 now. My hearing is not always, you know, the way it used to be. Did she just casually say a couple of factories? Like it was.
Yes, she did.
Okay, let's get back to these couple of factories, Jan.
I did say that, yes. You know, it was an unexpected growth that I learned a lot from, and took me a while, but it was tough. It was tough, but yeah.
Okay, but let me tell you, this is how we're gonna do this, okay, Jan? We're gonna add some Caffeina. I don't even know what type of factories.
I tell you, where were you then?
This is what I do, Dr. Angela. We answered your questions on Pivoted.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think? What are your thoughts on some of the responses you received?
I think it's amazing. I think the primary thing that I hear, and I do this all day as a coach, is I listen and I mirror and I reflect and I help people transform heart, mind, and soul. But one thing that I did hear is that people recognize a couple things. One, that the process is not linear, that it's cyclical, right? There are ups and downs. Two, people saw an opportunity. They didn't want to settle for what had been given. Oftentimes, as entrepreneurs, I think we are a bit challenged because we let other people try to should on us. SHOULD. And so I think what I'm hearing is that a lot of people decided not to be shoulded on, if you will, decided to take advantage of the opportunity to adjust and pivot in their lives and see that the world is not linear, it's very cyclical, and that they are excited about the journey. And so usually with my clients, I tell people, especially business entrepreneurs, imagine a world, or imagine your life with no ceiling above you and no floor beneath you. What do you feel in that moment? And they say one of two things. They either say exhilaration or terror. And I help them see that in any given moment, they get to choose that emotion. Whatever emotion in that moment serves them is what we lean into and we delve into to make them successful in every area of their lives. So yeah, I heard all of that from the participants. So thank you. It's very, very much a gift for me as a coach to hear.
But you tell them it can be both too, right, Dr. Angela?
Oh, absolutely. In any given moment, right? Which is the beauty of it. And I recognize that that's also a privilege, right? It's a privilege that we're able to say, hey, let's leave our job and do this. A lot of people don't have that type of life right now. But I think all of us are proof that it is possible. It's definitely possible.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely possible. Chef Karen,
most of the entrepreneurs that I know, they don't just go in one direction. You may start here, but you see another opportunity, you let something go, and then you pick up something else. And it's a lifestyle. I know when she mentioned grade school, ladies and gentlemen, my very first job was picking up night crawlers in the yard, and I sold them to the bait store for 65 cents a dozen. And that was big money in grade school.
Nice.
Wow. I love it.
Why 65 though? I'm curious.
Well, because that was a good going rate at 65 cents. And Mr. Rakes, the bait shore owner, because I used to bring him in clover, he upped the price if he provided the cups and the medium for me to count 12 and put them in a pack, so he didn't have to do it.
Nice.
And at that time, well, to give you an idea, back in the dinosaur days, we had pop bottles, and you got 5 cents a pop bottle. Well, I knew how to do math, and I could go out in my yard, and it was a really good summer job, and I had money all year.
Nice. What you was doing with that money, Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Rakes in the bait shop. When I showed up one day and said, I got night crawlers in my yard, and these are how big they are. I know you sell to fishermen. Could you sell these? And he's like, how many you got?
I love it.
So bless Mr. Rakes.
True entrepreneur.
Amy, I don't think you heard Sharifah's question though. What were you spending all that hard-earned money on?
Oh, well, I bought clothes. Folks, I was raised by a single mom who ended up being disabled. And so things were tight. I was a welfare kid, Medicaid, whatever you want to call it. We all did real well. But I bought groceries. I bought whatever of my clothes, things I wanted. When I wanted to go to the movie, stuff that a kid in grade school would kind of want when money was really tight, and it would be hard for your mom to be able to come up with it. But I wouldn't say we did without. We had some angels that gifted us, and we also went out and worked, and we did stuff. I was babysitting other people's kids at 12 because that's kind of what you needed to do to make it.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, Miss Amy, is you are now on the marketing team for Caffeina, okay?
Hired.
You don't have a salary, though, but the whole point is...
Okay, but let me take this into a different deal. I don't have the time to do the marketing and everything for the huge vision that I have and work in the pieces. I just picked up a VA. I hired her yesterday, and we'll be starting tomorrow. A VA out of the Philippines, and not to offend anybody in the US, but this lady has enormous marketing, SEO, social media, everything else. She's been doing it for major brands there. And I can do that for $5 an hour. And I have room to give her substantial raises for any of her, we'll call it producing results. And so I think sometimes we have to look at building our teams again in a little different way. And for me, I can see that I'm going to be building out some teams of VAs. And I've had US VAs and other things before, because it can leverage areas that you don't have the time to do or you're not good at to propel you to other levels and
That's
create
right.
other jobs.
That's right, because you need more time for Caffeina. So we just hired a new employee, Joe. What do you think about that? A non-paid one, by the way.
Well, Amy sounds like she would do a very good job for pushing our product, but very intelligent and very, I don't know, we have to get her some Caffeina. I think we have to get everybody Caffeina.
Now, see, you're coming through Amazon. I live in the US Virgin Islands. We do not have Amazon Prime, but you make sure that you check that box that they can send it here. And
I would have to change that setting. Yes.
that setting. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, they often get forgotten, but we buy a lot of stuff and it gets shipped in.
Okay, Chef Karen, we're going to have to combine some of these meals, get you out there, make some money. This is what we do on the Round Table Talk Show. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Chef Karen, talk to me. Chef Karen, we're going to have to get Chef Karen back off mute.
Unmute.
There we go. I automatically think of exactly what Amy was saying about living in places that, Amazon doesn't deliver, and how do you get that product? And maybe it's not the specific product, but how can you use something similar? And that's the foundation of so much of the fusion that I incorporate into my cooking lessons. I've been working with ingredients like Albanian cheeses and goat that, I just got off the farm, and not everybody has access to that everywhere in the world. So what else can you get that's very similar, or what types of lightweight products, spices, or just caffeine packs that you could add to water, or something else that you might be able to send via regular mail? And how can you teach people how to incorporate that into what they're already doing so it becomes a natural part of their daily lives?
I'm not going to disagree with you, Chef Karen, but I'm telling you right now, this is just me, not the other guests, not the viewers. This is just me. Like, I need the meal to come with you. Okay? Like, because somebody got to cook this meal, because I guarantee you it's not going to be me.
Well, that's exactly why I started doing the culinary and cultural tours, because I had people coming to visit me, whether it was where we were living in central Japan, or off the Pacific coast in Mexico, or especially in Albania. In fact, more clients than anywhere in the world come to Albania to visit me and don't speak the local language, don't know how to find the ingredients that they might be looking for, can't even identify the ingredients in the local market. And so that's where we started this process of getting together in specific global cities and going on the market tour and interacting with the shop sellers and finding all the cool local seasonal produce or whatever. And then we take it back to the kitchen and we play and have fun and create some delicious meals. So that's always a possibility too. Don't worry.
Yeah, I would play and have fun while I watch you cook.
I just want to go on a food tour with her right now. Like, I want to go to the market with her.
I know,
Like, it sounds
exactly.
delicious.
Now, Chef Karen,
It is delicious.
have you ever heard of Eat With? EATWITH, Eat With? Eat With
No,
is a
I'm not familiar
local
with that.
organization, and this is a lot of fun. We did this when we were over in Italy. It's Eat With, not affiliated with them, but you go in and you go into people's homes and they cook the meals, and you can have lessons to learn, but to have a wonderful feast. We had such a good time doing the Eat With, meeting with the hosts and other guests. So that's another avenue that you might look at.
I'll have to check that
And
out.
for those foodies out there, it's you can go in wherever you're traveling and see who is available and what they're doing, whether they're bread baking classes or cheese making, whatever, or just, we had an authentic Italian meal. It was very good.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Chef Karen, let me know when you'll be in Chicago. I'd love you to meet my youngest. He wants to be a chef, so he's ready to be your apprentice. Just let me know.
Fantastic. How old is your youngest, Dr.
He's
Angela?
12. He's 12.
All right.
Oh, that's
Well,
just
we
a
have
little older than my son.
Okay, yeah, he's 5'10", so he's not a little guy necessarily anymore. But
That's all.
he
I know they
he
grow
loves to
quickly when
cook.
you feed them well,
I
don't
know,
they?
really, a little too well. Yeah, no, but that's awesome. Yeah,
Okay,
let me
but
know when you're in Chicago.
don't you have virtual apprenticeships?
Absolutely. We do stuff
Fantastic.
from all corners of the globe. I was just having a lesson with one of my clients in Tanzania the other day. So we can work together from wherever we are in the world. That's the beauty of what we're doing here with this amazing technology. And this is the kind of thing that before I started, I used to think too, well, yeah, but you kind of have to be there. It was a lot like, when I was in the preschool and kindergarten classrooms. It seems like the sort of thing that you really have to be in the same room to do together, to touch and feel. But it is absolutely unbelievable just how well we can connect over a video screen like this. And when we have the foods and the smells and everything right there at our fingertips, we can still share this incredible cooking experience, even if we're thousands of miles and oceans and continents apart.
That was a commercial, right?
There's a gentleman in the Bahamas that came up with a really brilliant idea, I thought. He sends a recipe list of the ingredients that you need, and it's like a full day experience online. So you make the cocktails, you have the different foods that are traditional dishes, and then they take you on tours. So, you couldn't travel. So it was like a one-day vacation, if you're doing, I don't know, the buggy ride, or when you went out on the beach, whatever it was, they would do it in segments and then intersperse. Okay, it's time for a food break, time for our snack. Let's make this or whatever. And he made a whole day experience of being in the Bahamas when you couldn't be there and still have some of the flavors. And I thought that was a really creative idea.
They say more millionaires are made during a recession than any other time. So people are showing their creativity during this time. This has been an amazing show. I have definitely enjoyed the show. We had a lot of fun. Now we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. And what I love to do at the end of every show is just simply allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to the audience, to everyone who is watching this show live, as well as everyone who is watching it in the archives, and let them know what you want them to take away from your appearance here today. And we're going to start with you, Jan.
Wow, starting with me. Okay. Well, I have to say, for me, it's a passion for entrepreneurship, and I think it's about taking control of your life, as everybody said. It's about building the business you want to do. It can be tiny, it can be just you, it can be huge, and you can take on Google and Microsoft, and why not? It's your choice, your life, and you only get one shot at it, so make the best of it.
Yes, words to live by. Definitely. Mark, what do you have for people?
The main thing I see, is everyone has passion for something, and if you follow your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. And to be successful means different things to different people. And just find what it means to you and find the path to get there step by step. Whatever it's going to take is really what you need to be doing. And people just need to have that right mindset to understand that everything that they want to do can be done, but they have to actually focus on and accomplishing those goals. So I hope everyone gets there. Wish everyone well, and buy some caffeine water whenever you get a chance.
Absolutely. Definitely. Absolutely. Chef Karen, what do you have for people?
I just want to remind everybody that when you take the time to really figure out where your priorities lie, then you can pour all of your passions into what is most important to you. And that not only helps you to create the rich life that you want to live, but to be so fully satisfied that you're filled to overflowing and you have that much more to share with all the wonderful people around you. So that's why I encourage everybody to play with their food, because it's so fully satisfying to me. And I look forward to playing with you too.
Yes, I definitely agree. I have to play. Dr. Angela, what do you have for people?
Thank you. So I'm a business psychologist and executive coach. heart, mind, and soul. And what that means is I look at the person and the process from their business to their inner thoughts and their fears and their anxieties. And we go through a process of transformation, because as all the entrepreneurs here today and those who are listening know, entrepreneurship is about a bottom line indeed. And it's also about the tools needed to achieve your goals. And it's also about the transformative process that entrepreneurship takes us through. And I'm here to help accompany you, heart, mind, and soul.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Joe, what do you have for people?
All right. Well, I just want to close by saying, we are a quality spring water. Our water is harvested from Pennsylvania, the mountains of Pennsylvania. You can get this on Amazon.com. You can get it on Caffeina.com. The Caffeina is available Amazon Prime. You get it in 2 days. Our flavored water is not on Prime, but you'll get that within 4 to 5 days. And thank you for having Caffeina on today.
Absolutely. We definitely enjoyed it and enjoyed meeting you. Amy, you got to take it out. Take it out. What
Right.
do you have for
Now,
people?
this is it. What I want you to take away is that I am willing to give you the knowledge, but I got to have you show up. So I want you to order my ebook that is thesecretprofits.com, so you can add $10,000 to $100,000 to your bottom line. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to show up for my sessions. Look at my calendar on Facebook or LinkedIn. And the third thing is, if you can't make it, show up on my YouTube channel and let me help you create that wealth for now and future generations. Don't miss out on knowledge. Nobody can ever take knowledge away from you unless you have a brain injury.
I've never heard that one before. Never heard of closing. Amy said, unless your brain is injured, you're going to have this information, this knowledge.
You can't
Amy
take
said, let me help you. I'm sorry.
I said, you cannot take, you guys know, do you remember how to tie your shoelaces? Would you learn that in kindergarten?
Yes.
You can't take knowledge away from you once you learn it unless you have a brain injury. So don't be afraid to learn something new.
There you go.
I had the little Velcro though back in kindergarten. That was all I could do. That's all I had. You know what I mean? That's what I got now. I'm telling you. My brain ain't in this, so I don't like to do too much work. This has been a fun show. A lot of fun. We talked, we laughed, we learned. But I want to thank all of our guests for joining us on today's episode of the Roundtable Talk Show. And I especially want to thank everyone who tuned in to watch this show live, as well as everyone who is watching in the archives. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you sharing. But the most important thing to me, as always, is that you support our guests. Our guests are here this morning to support you, to give you their information. Like Amy said, unless you have a brain injury, no one can take this information away from you. So support them. Be a reviewer for one of Amy's books. Go have a session over there with Dr. Angela. Talk to Jen. Get a class with Chef Karen. Pick up some water. You know what I mean? Learn about art from Mark. Support our guests. Visit their websites. Follow them on social media. Reach out to them. Send them a message. And when you do, please let them know Sharifah Hardie says hi. Now, if you're interested in more ways that I can help your business, or maybe you want to be a guest on the Roundtable Talk Show, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, everyone have a safe and a blessed day. Bye now.